Hello to all my hot historians and my fellow truth seekers, whom I like to call chematologists. It's your girl, Nefertiti, here to bring you some things to think about, learn, and to go research yourself. Welcome to my channel, where we learn vocabulary to unlock life's mysteries and reveal the world's true history. Today, we'll be discussing Smenkhare, the firstborn son of the pharaoh Akhenaten and the beautiful queen Nefertiti. If you haven't already, don't forget to go to barnesandnoble.com to purchase my book, The Son of God in Kemet, and the digital version of the study guide as well. Please remember to only purchase from the Barnes& Noble website because other websites pay authors virtually nothing. And with each purchase off of the Barnes& Noble website, it'll bring me closer to my dream of having my books in store. Also, don't forget to check me out on TikTok and Instagram at Neferu_Neferu_Aten. If you haven't already, go ahead and click that like and subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you can know when I upload my next video. Let's get started. Today, we'll be discussing Smenkhare's life, his marriage and co-regency, his appearances in another text, his possible mummy, his possible genetic link to King Tut, and the conclusion. First, we'll start by discussing his life. Smenkhare was born in the palace built by his grandfather, Amenhotep III. Its name was Akhenaten, which meant the house of the dazzling Aten. During his formative years, his father, Amenhotep IV, got saved and changed his name to Akhenaten. He also changed his wife Nefertiti's name to Neferuaten, and several of his officials' names as well. He then moved the capital of Kemet, modern-day Egypt, from Waset, aka Thebes, to a new capital dedicated to
200 miles north of Thebes, it's now called Amarna. Akhenaten picked one of the most remote and inhospitable regions in all Egypt.
He actually announces that he decided to found the city in this spot because the Aten, his father, led him to it.
The site looks much as it did when Akhenaten found it more than 3,000 years ago. Joanne can even see the distinctive cliffs that Akhenaten interpreted as an omen that he had found the right place. They form the same shape as the hieroglyph for horizon. On certain days of the year, the sun seemed to be reborn between the two mountains. The perfect spot for a city dedicated to the sun.
At the age of about 16, Smenkhare was married to his sister, Nefertiti, and became the co-regent of the land, sharing the throne with his father and his mother, who was also a co-regent and wielded equal power to her husband, Akhenaten. Smenkhare and his wife had a baby girl named Nefertiti Tasheret. And although Smenkhare had immense power and basically the world at his fingertips, it still wasn't enough for him. Now we'll discuss his appearance in another text called Joseph and Asenath. This text is how Joseph met his wife, Asenath. I'll provide a little backstory which connects Joseph to this time period, but for the full story, please see my video on Akhenaten. To make a long story short, Joseph was sold into slavery by his jealous brothers and eventually ended up in jail after being falsely accused. In Genesis chapter 41, Amenhotep IV, aka Akhenaten, had two dreams that he could not decipher. His chief butler had met Joseph in jail and told the pharaoh about how he had interpreted his dream, and what Joseph said would happen actually happened. So the pharaoh called Joseph and he interpreted the pharaoh's dreams. He told Amenhotep IV that his dreams meant there would be 7 years of abundance for Kemet, aka modern day Egypt, including an extremely abundant harvest. However, it would be followed by 7 years of extreme famine so severe the years of abundance would be forgotten. So Amenhotep IV placed Joseph as the overseer of the granaries and also made him his vizier, which is like a personal advisor who has immense power throughout the land. In doing so, Amenhotep IV said that he would rule the people according to Joseph's word. Joseph was a devout worshiper of the Lord. He frowned upon the worship of idols and multiple gods. And we know that Amenhotep IV, aka Akhenaten, is the pharaoh in this story because he was the first monotheistic pharaoh in Kemetic history. This interaction with Joseph was the reason for the change to worship one God. So, this is how the stories intercept. So, let's go back to the book of Joseph and Asenath. In this book, the Pharaoh's eldest son is consumed with jealousy of Joseph. He has an overwhelming desire to have Joseph's wife, Asenath. However, he could have had any other woman near or far, but he wanted Joseph's wife. It's said that her beauty was incomparable. Only Joseph's mother, Rachel, came close to her magnificence. This desire consumed Smenkhare daily. He tried to enlist Joseph's brothers to plot against him. Finally, Dan and Gad agreed to help him after he lied to them. Smenkhare's scheme was to kidnap Asenath while she was on her way to the fields of harvest the next day. He asked if two of their brothers would help, and they said yes. They would convince them. Smenkhare got 2,000 soldiers and gave them to Dan and Gad. He told them to lay in wait for Asenath. He gave them so many men because Joseph had 600 soldiers protecting Asenath. The next day, Asenath felt easy about being away from Joseph, so he sent his brother Benjamin along with her for added protection. And she went on her way. She came up on the stream where the men were hiding, and they ambushed the 600 men. Her driver managed to get away, and they escaped down a hill only to be stopped by Smenkhare, who was there waiting for them with 50 other soldiers. Y'all, Benjamin got off that chariot and threw a huge stone so hard and so fast, Smenkhare didn't even have time to react. The text says that it hit him on the left temple, which is a very sensitive area of the head. He had on a helmet too, but it was no match for the size and speed of that stone. It was likened to a stone that you find at a riverbed. Smenkhare fell off the right side of the horse and was unconscious. Joseph's brothers felt something was wrong as well, and they went towards the field and came upon the men silently and killed all 2,000 of them. Then they came to where Asenath was with Benjamin, but by then Benjamin had thrown stones at all 50 men, killing them all. Okay? These were some powerful men. Smenkhare regained consciousness and sat up and spat blood. They helped him up and cleaned his wound and took him to Akhenaten, but he ended up passing away. Now, let's move on to the supporting evidence. Here you can see a death scene from Akhenaten's tomb showing a young man with a prince lock lying in his deathbed. Everyone's crying, and you can see Mary Totten holding their young daughter. You can see here that this young man still has his prince lock, which is a lock of hair in the shape of a ponytail worn on the side of the head. Now remember, this young man in the story was struck in the left temple and fell on the right side. Y'all, look at this mummy. His head is swollen on the left temple. He was hit so hard that his left ear came off. Like, what? Then look at his right shoulder. It appears to be bruised. Coincidence? Additionally, you can see here that he has the same prince lock. On top of that, when he was buried with his mother Nefertiti and grandmother Queen T. He was placed right in the center of them. This is truly an amazing discovery.
All three mummies are unwrapped. This is a major problem in identifying them. Their names would have been written on their bandages.
It's a brilliant mummification job. The embalmers did an excellent job on this lady. Really superb.
One is an old woman, another a young man. The third, Joanne believes, could be Nefertiti.
Now we'll go over a possible genetic link to King Tut. We know that Tut had a congenital clubfoot caused by the interbreeding of his parents who were siblings and his parents' parents or grandparents who were cousins. An associated condition to clubfoot is called developmental dysplasia of the hip. It's basically a dislocated hip that occurs from birth. 80% of the cases of this condition affect the left hip. Although Tut did not have this condition, Smenkhare did. Look here at a modern x-ray of an adult with this condition. You'll see here how the left leg is angled inward toward the right because of the hip dislocation. Look at Smenkhare's mummy, y'all. His leg is also angled in the same way, and it is his left hip. This is a genetic way of linking him to Tut, who was his younger brother. At this time, the identity of this mummy is unknown, but based on the ancient records of his existence and marriage, his injuries, and ancient texts, and a congenital condition, along with who he was buried with, I believe I have proven that this mummy is none other than Smenkhare, firstborn son to Nefertiti and Akhenaten, elder brother of King Tut. Well, that's all for now. As always, thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to click that like and subscribe button and hit that notification bell. Until next time, bye.